to accept the Senate substitute.
The delegate from Loudoun, Delegate LaRock.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I listened to some of the speaking to the bill and the substitute. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I listened to some of the debate in the Senate, and it was an interesting discussion. An amendment dealing with selective reduction, if that's not the euphemism to end all euphemisms. What it amounts to is the taking of one or more human lives in a context that would be closely associated with this bill. Paraphrasing another one of the senator's position, of course these contracts should make provisions for termination, again, another euphemism, to avoid saying killing babies. The Senate floor debate, another quote, paraphrasing again, the bill patroned twice by Senator Sullivan for the stated purpose of aligning surrogacy with the SCOTUS opinion that same-sex couples can marry. If you share these priorities, then by all means, vote for this bill and this amendment. There's been a lot of attention on this bill, and for good reason. Passing this bill represents nothing short of a seismic shift in the public policy of this Commonwealth. A seismic shift when it comes to the creation and treatment of human life, the rights of children, the basis for parenthood, the significance of marriage, the dynamics of the parent-child relationship. Again, if you share these priorities, by all means, move this bill forward. But don't miss the fact that even with these few changes, this bill would create, for the first time, a disconnect between the biological connection of a child and or his parents before a child is ever born. Currently, at least one parent is required to be a genetic parent of a child who is being intentionally created through assisted conception. The bill would allow for there to be no genetic connection at all, replacing the legal basis for parenthood with a mere contract among willing adults. Passing the bill as amended means for the first time in Virginia, non-married and single individuals would be able to contract with someone to produce a child through surrogacy, simply because they want one. For the first time, as a matter of public policy in this Commonwealth, we would be declaring that when it comes to bringing a child into the world, married homes are no longer preferred. This bill would flip the current custodial paradigm from currently the best interests of the child to one of the desires and intentions of any adult. Mr. Speaker, the bill most certainly would lead to, and this is perhaps what I find most offensive, an increased number of frozen embryos created and stored, most of whom would either die or be discarded. While the Senate did fix parts of the bill that allowed for ownership, I appreciate that, the human embryos, which are human beings, should be treated with respect. The Senate failed to address the very serious problems that I've mentioned in this bill, especially the need to protect babies and mothers from surrogacy contracts that would actually require surrogate mothers who may not have read the fine print in a contract to take the lives of the children they are carrying. Mr. Speaker, if we pass this bill, there will be many more, forced abortions, and the barbaric practice of selection reduction will be more common. It's up to the House of Delegates, Mr. Speaker, to fix this bill before it goes to the governor. I ask the body to please vote no on these amendments and send this bill to a committee of conference to correct these very serious defects. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shall the Senate substitute be agreed to? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 36.
63, noes 36. The Senate substitutes agreed to.